not lighting. There it goes. Okay, there we go. Now it lit up. Maybe it just took a second. So thanks everybody for being here. We finally got the record button to work. So I want to now we already did a show this morning on all the color books and Happy Mail. Again, thank you so much, Scrappy Pats and Renee L, for the awesome color books. And so if y'all remember last Wednesday, Carla from the journal, the Heart Journal magazine, interviewed me, and I told her that I would color a couple pages out of this issue, which was the color book, the fall color book issue, that I'd do something with a page or two out of that book so that she could have something else maybe to put in the interview article. So that's what we're going to work on. Yes, now we have an extra mod this morning. Carrie's throwing around the keys to the mini bar, and it's only 10 a.m. All right, so let's behave, ladies. All right, so anyway, I'm going to probably do something out of these. Why am I on my pencils rolled off my desk? I have to watch it because my trash can is right next to my desk, and I don't want any pencils to roll off into the trash can. So what I want to do is possibly color these two pages, and for some reason it looks a little skewed. I think we're good. So I want to color these, and these are just on a thicker printer paper. It's not even on cardstock. But the reason I wanted to do them on thinner paper is because if I want to cut these out and put them in my mixed media Dilutions mixed media art journal, I don't want it on cardstock. I want it thinner. So if you do use any of your color book pages in your mixed media personal journals and you want to cut them out and glue them in, I would recommend copying them on this isn't like the cheapest, the thinnest that you could possibly buy, but I mean that would be fine too, except for the coloring process might be a little bit, more, a little trickier. But it's kind of it's a medium weight printer paper, so that way they'll glue in easier. They'll glue in. Yes, the mini bar does serve espresso and lattes. Yes, ma'am, it does. So let me get a couple pieces of, let's see here, there's a white sheet there, just to put it on, because my desk this is just some black craft paper that I cover my table with, and there's probably about 5 layers of that paper. I just cover it up with another sheet. Sometimes if I run out of black paper, I'll just paint it. But in this case, so I want something behind it to kind of cushion it so that it doesn't pick up any little paint bumps or anything that might be on my desk. So it's a good idea if you're taking a page out of a color book to color, make sure you put some cardstock or something behind it so that you're not going to pick up the bumps and lumps and whatever that could be on your table, your tablecloth, or whatever. Hello, Suzanne. I think I said hi to Julie Topaz. Anybody else that's popping in? Thanks, everybody, for being here. And, yeah. All right, so I think what I'm going to do is not find a page where they're going to go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to maybe make them go together, these two. But I really am not going to go into my mixed media Dilutions art journals until I color them, and then I'm going to try to find a home for them. Now, you could do it either way. You could find a page in your art journal that you've already got some backgrounds done, and then match your coloring, match it to what you want to incorporate it into. But in this case, I think what I'm going to do is just going to go for the coloring part and then cut them out. Now, I probably will just cut around the flowers here, and then if I want stems, or if I want stems in the art journal page, I will redraw these. I'm not going to try to cut out these stems, okay? So I'll color the flowers and the leaf, and then I'll cut it all out, and then if I want to re-add these little doodles and stems and things, I'll just draw those right into the art journal page. All right, so same thing for this. Let me look here. I think what I will do is I'll do her and these large leaves, and then if I want these other little leaves, now you can fussy cut around. You don't even have to necessarily fussy cut. Well, you know what I'll do? I think I will do this for because it'll be a good example. I will I will go ahead and do these leaves, and I will not fussy cut so much, but do I'll cut around like this. I'll do a cut like this. I'll cut like that around so that I can still cut out all these elements, but it's not technically fussy cutting. And then what I'll do is I'll paint in or somehow incorporate the white area here because I'll have to paint that in because I'm not going to want a white border. You could have a white border, just, that's fine if you want, but I'm going to try to incorporate painting that in once it's in my art journal. Does that make sense? So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I will probably start, do I want to do neo colors? Probably neo colors. I could do acrylic washes, but I think I'm going to just go with neo colors. I could go with ink tints. Ink tints might be preferable, when you're going to glue something into another journal, but I think I'll just go with the neo colors because it'll be a little quicker. Or maybe even some markers here and there. We'll see. And then some shading. So let me get a couple places here to color both at the same time. So I can work on, keeping them color coordinated. All right. Any questions? Hey, Claire B. Do you know who the artist is of this lovely lady? No, I don't, but I should have wrote it down. It's not on the cover either. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry. It's not, some of them had them on the page. Okay, well, it does have it on here, but I'm not going to be able to read it. Let me get my mag light. Where's Jean? I know, Jean's napping. Hang on. Let me get my mag light on my phone. And let me zoom in. See if I can read it. It is, let's see, oh man, I can't, it's because it's written in pen, it's feathered. It's feathered out, guys. It's I can't, it's maybe Lilu. I can't read it. Sorry, guys, even with the mag light. The mag light is feathering it out. So I can't even see it. It's Li. It looks like Liu or something, but I can't see it. Sorry. And then this one, I don't know if it's the same person, but it's not on here either. So this is a lesson to you girls that send me cards without your names. I do try to sign them for you on the back. If you forget, Eileen. But it's much easier if you will, because then if one gets separated from the bunch, then there's no going back there. Unless I just like Sherry's doll cards, I totally recognize hers. But it's hard to remember who does what. So make sure you sign your cards. Okay? Just saying. Not fussing. Just saying. All right. Does anybody have a list of fibs who stream? There is a list, and somebody else asked me that on YouTube. Miko, she's Meko here, but it's Miko on Blogspot, has a list. Now, I don't know how up to date it is, but she has, it's all right, Eileen, it's okay. Eileen goes, oops. She does have a list of, I don't know that it has every single up-to-date current person that streams, but she had a list from a few months back of everybody that is kind of like in our group that streams. So if you look at Miko Blogspot, Miko, and maybe you could find it there because I don't have a list. I don't have one printed out anyway. And it changes all the time. Some people like Bryn, for instance, Elegant Tangle Bryn. She used to stream every single week at a specific time. And, I haven't even seen her around for weeks. So, and I know she got busy with family stuff. And also, again, just because they're on that list does not mean they're currently streaming regularly. Let's put it that way. So even if you find the list, it does not necessarily mean they are currently streaming. So I would suggest the best bet would be is when you come across the youth streamers, whether it's from a list or here or whatever, to follow them, and hopefully, depending on what browser you're on, you should get a notification when that person goes live. So that would be my best suggestion. Okay, so when I'm using my Neo colors, and I do have kind of a large set here, and it will probably flash back in and out of colors. Carrie and a couple others have even a larger set. This is the 84 set. I think there's a one that's 120 something. I think it's the one Carrie has. And my only thing that I don't like about the 84 set is they need a couple of new shades. I need to go hand select, because you can buy these individually. Hand select a couple more blues and a couple more reds. There is not a real true red in this set. And, or really, there's a kind of so-called true blue, but it's not, I don't know. They could use another blue or two and a couple more reds in this set. So I'll have to hand pick those out next time, I do Blick. Let's see, where's my newer brush? It's full of water. I think this is it. Yeah. I only use the Pentel water brushes. There's other brands out there. I like this brand. It's a nice sharp point. Got a piece of pencil shaving on there. And these brushes I only use with water soluble media, like ink tints pencils, watercolor pencils, Neo color. Now again, these are Neo Color 2. You have to get the 2s that say water soluble. Neo Color 1 are just waxy crayons. They are not water soluble. I really stress that, because there have been people that accidentally have bought just plain old Neo Colors and they're not water soluble. So make sure you get Neo Color 2. And they come in small sets, I think 12. You might even be able to get a 6 or 8 set for a tester, 12. And but they're not cheap, but they last forever. So I use my water brush only on the water soluble media. So I'm going to slide this out. It's going to probably get dark again because my camera does not like white. All right. So yeah, Miko's Spot. Thank you, Carrie. It's Mikos, Miko's Spot. 2 S's in there. Mikos Spot.blogspot. Okay, and she'll have a Ustream folk to watch. And I don't know, Carrie's given us a direct link here, but I can't give you that over the recording. So, all right, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to just do a wash of colors that I want to pick without even thinking about what may be or not in my Mixed Media Dilutions journal. If I was going to color these pages just as pages themselves, I'd probably, color in the backgrounds, maybe do, some clouds coming across there, and which I may do when I go into the journal. But for now, I just want to color the main images because I'm going to cut them out. They say that ink tints is permanent when fully dried. I guess. I think some of it depends on the paper or what you're using them on. I don't use them enough to have tested them on every kind of paper there is. So, you have to test all these things, especially in the color book industry. Every color book is different. The paper's different. I did notice that in the Time Chamber one, it's a totally different kind of paper than any of the other books I have. It's a little more particular about blending my color pencils, I found. And it could just be the paper came from, I don't know, UK, or, just different company, different paper. It was just a different paper. Nothing wrong with it. It was just different. So you always want to test. And the other thing here on this, I just printed these out on my inkjet Epson printer, which the Epson printer is a little less bleedy ink than some, But if you're printing out your color book pages and you're using water soluble anything, you might have to be aware. Let's just do a little test. Let's do a test up here because I'm not going to cut these out. Let's see how much that runs. Okay, if I keep going over and over and over and it's starting to bleed. Don't know if you can see that's not a lot, but it could be enough for you to be aware that you don't want to be sitting here going no 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 no, you know, with your colors because it will, you know, not only start pilling on you, but it'll start to bleed. Okay, so a lot of that's going to have to do with the kind of printer you have as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I think I'm going to start on her. Let me move her over this way. I just want to do a wash. Now, because her face is quite large, you know, I'm going to go ahead and just take a peach color and just as a base coat. And instead of just starting like this, this is how I usually do. I usually pull off the pigment onto my brush and then start coloring in. This is a larger area, so I'm just going to go ahead and lightly put an area where I want to start coloring. And it's just going to be a wash at this point. I'm just going to do a wash. Maybe, let's go ahead and I'll try to zoom in one, guys. Let's see. And now I'll probably have to refocus, so just a minute. Might want to lighten it just a tad and refocus. Hang on, guys. Try to get it as clear as I can for you. Okay. There we go. And I do know that my camera flashes out. This particular Logitech does not have a light lock. So, which I am looking into another webcam. Some papers seem to have more texture with more fibers that catch the pigment. Yeah. Sherry was saying that the ink in the Inktense pencils has to be totally dissolved to be permanent. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead, and I'm not squeezing out excess water. I don't want a lot of excess water. I'm just trying to get a base coat, and if I need more pigment, I'll just, you know, pull a little extra off. But I'm not squeezing out any water, and I'm trying to, as much as possible, kind of avoid getting all the black inked area, you know, the printer ink from over, not touching it as little as possible. Okay. And I'm not squeezing out any water. I'm just using what's naturally on the brush. I'm going to get her ear in there. And it's going to wrinkle, but hopefully when we glue it down in the mixed media journal, it won't be very wrinkly. And if it is, that kind of stuff just doesn't bother me. Now, it is darker than it looks on camera because I lightened up my camera a little so that you can see it a little better, but it does flash out the color. This is more the color that's actually on her, but it's not showing up. But it is darker. I'm going to put a little more shadow there, a little bit more in her ear, a little under her eyes, along her hairline. I'm just adding a little bit more. Another tip, if you're adding more and more washes of color, you probably want to dry in between because it's going to start pilling if I'm not careful. If I start adding too many layers with the water, it's going to start pulling the paper apart. So you might want to dry in between these extra layers of color. Okay, so I'm going to stop on her face. I'm going to do shading with color pencil, but you can kind of see I've got a wash on there. Okay, so I use a Kleenex to pull off the extra pigment. A Kleenex just seems to work the best, better than a paper towel. Neil colors too when you get your next bonus. Yeah. Well, start with, you can buy them individually too, online or at, the arts, like Blick. Probably Jerry's at Artarama and, all different places. All right. So let me go back now and do her hands. Or her hand. She has one hand showing. I think I'll just add a little bit. just to get it quicker. Okay, now I can see a little bit of the black ink wanting to feather, so you got to be careful on these inkjet prints. Okay, so now let's see. I think I'll just go with a nice olive green for the leaves. So I'm just going to put some olive green in here. Now, a lot of the little tinier details, like let's say in here, in these small leaves, I'll just go straight with color pencil. Okay, I don't need to do a wash on those because they're so tiny. You know, by the time there's no sense in really putting a wash on it when you're going to like really totally 100% cover it up. So I'm just going to move that green, and I'm going to try not to just scrub in there too much because I'm going right over, you know, inkjet. Just want to get a base coat. That's really all I'm trying to do, just to make it a little less time consuming when you have a wash. And it just gives you a base of something to work with. Okay, so there's how fast I colored in the leaves. Again, it's a little lighter on camera than it is in person. Just gonna do colors. What color do you use on? What color did I use on the face? This one was salmon. This one was salmon, and I also have the next darkest one, which I broke, and so I can't see the name. Oh, salmon pink, and so just salmon. Salmon and salmon pink are the two face ones here. Okay, are you coloring along? Okay. Again, I'm going to add more greens to this, okay? And I know I'm going to repeat myself a lot of times, but this is when I'm doing a project, and if you've watched me a whole bunch of times do the same type of stuff, whether it's collage, mixed media, coloring, whatever, I'm just telling you what I'm doing at the moment. So if you watch me a lot, you can say, oh, you've said that before, but I haven't said it before with this piece. But I do want to also stress that you have to have this 100% dry. 105% dry before you start trying to shade over it with color pencil. It'll either tear it, dig into it, not go on it. You have to have this, and you'd think it would be dry really quick, and sometimes it is, but it's best to make sure it's dry. Whether it's acrylic, anything you added water to, make sure it's dry. Hey, CB Lisha. All right, so I think her hair, do we want to, maybe we'll make her a redhead. Let's go ahead, and even though I don't have the true red, like I said, we'll make it kind of an orangey red. So I'm just going to kind of put a quick little bit of wash on, a scribble of the crayon on there, and then just going, because I don't want to overwork this ink. And if it does smear a little bit, that's okay. But, I'm trying not to have it get sopping wet, okay? Maybe just a little bit right here behind her. So that's all I'm going to do with the hair, just that quick wash, all right? We'll do a little bluebird here. Let's see. Let's get a little. We'll just do a little bluebird. Ooh, that's some bright blue right there. I want to kind of water that down. It's a little bright. Do a little bluebird. Just a little bit of wash on them. And now her dress. Let's go with purple royalty. Go with a purple royalty dress. Maybe let's see. Let me do a little test over here. Is this blue more purple? Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, so your little cardstock can also be a little test. Just don't get your paper back in it. Okay. Numbers, embrace the numbers. Embrace the numbers. Okay, I missed something. Embrace the numbers. Oh, where's the number with the salmon? Yeah, where's Vicky? I know. Well, I hope she's doing well. Some of them, I don't even know if do they have numbers on them? I'm not seeing any numbers on these. Not saying there aren't any, but I can't see them. Okay, so I'm going to go in here with some detail, some royal kind of purpley blue on the main areas of her dress. Now, the little designs, the little embroidery, the little, all that, that's kind of stuff you'll want to do with markers or color pencil afterward. So, and again, you can take more time than this. I'm kind of like, not saying I'm really hurrying, but you know, I'm going faster than I probably would if I'm just sitting here by myself, because I don't, you know, I am streaming. So the second layer of her sleeve, under the little, there's a little fold over the top of her sleeve there. I'm going to leave that. Kind of just doing some separate little layers. I think I'll do the little puffy part of her sleeves in this color too. And so it does have a watercolory look. Do you heat set your ink after printing? You find it helps? Yeah, I probably should. I don't. Now, maybe in my Epson printer, it doesn't smear as much as some printers I've had. My HP ink smeared really badly. All right, now I think I'll go in here with maybe a yellow ochre. A couple of colors here. This area here. But it can't hurt. You know, it can't hurt to heat set anything. All right, so this little kind of an embroidery look and stuff here. Oops, go. And then maybe I'll just kind of tie that in with that. And it looks very, very pale. It's pretty pale, but it is a little bit lighter. Let me see about moving my camera up just a touch to kind of level it off. It looks like it's a little angled, which can throw off the light as well. Yeah, I do make sure it's 100%. This is 100% dry before I go over it with color pencil. But I think what CB Lish is talking about is when I print this, when I printed this out, I should heat set this before I start putting water soluble stuff on it. Yeah. All right. What color do I want the bodice? I think I'll just leave it for now and decide that later. I think because I'm going to shade, you know, color around all those flowers, so I'll just leave it like that. So there's our base coat wash. Maybe, let me go ahead and do, even though this is probably going to be cut out a lot, this bottom part of her dress, when I cut it out to glue it in, I'll still go ahead and just do a little bit of a wash, like this is where her dress is down here. So if you're just joining us, these are color book pages out of the Heart Journal magazine, the Color Book Fall issue. It's a mixed media magazine, and Carla Devine interviewed me on last Wednesday for an article in the March issue. So I'm coloring her a couple pages if she wants to use them or not. That's totally up to her. But I'm going to color them and then incorporate them into my Dilutions Mixed Media Journal. Hey there, Vicki. There she is. Good to see you. Vicki BR, our alligator Vicki. Oh, there we go. Oh, Vicki, I got to tell you something later. I keep missing you. All right, so let me move this a little. I want to keep, I don't want to color right on the crease there. So I'm going to try to, let's just swap these two out like that. All right, so now, and again, when I get done with the flowers, I'll hit them both with the heat gun. All right, so I do want to go ahead and keep kind of the same olive green leafage here, because I'm going to tie these two together in some kind of art journal page. Might have to be a double page spread, because these are kind of large, both large items. Unless I mean, I could cut the flowers apart if I needed to. But we'll see. I want to, you know, make sure that Carla can still see that they're her page, and not her personal pages, but out of her magazine. All right, so let's see. I think we'll go with the yellow ochre again instead of like bright yellow for a sunflower. I think I'm just gonna put a yellow ochre scribble there, and that's plenty. They're very pigmented, and it goes a long way. So I'm just trying to not squeeze out any extra water, just letting it kind of flow out. And then when I dry it, then I'm going to go in there with, what do you call it, a color pencil. All right, so I think what I'll do is I might go ahead and put a little darker in here, but I think I also want that dark to kind of feather out around the edges so that it kind of like makes the leaves start looking a little shadowed. But I got to be careful. I can't get too much of that ink too soppy wet. But there we go. That's good. That's all I want to add there because it's going to have color pencil. This is just the wash. Hey, Linda. Anybody else popping in? I think I'll have a purple flower in here, a couple of different purples. I'll have one that kind of matches her outfit. Maybe we'll do the center of this one purple and the leaves on this one purple. And you can be more particular and pull it right off of the stick and do each individual one. But for just a big washed area, this will be fine. And then I'll go back with a color pencil. So I kind of got it's kind of almost the same kind of, need a little bit more brown around the edge. Same kind of colors that I used in that other floral thing that I did a couple weeks ago. You're going to use strips of something in your journal when you're done, but I missed something, Carrie. I didn't see what it was. Okay, let's see. Maybe a brown. I mean, it's almost kind of like I've gone with almost a fall look colors here. I think let's do these little, no, because I'm not going to well, this one I probably will. I wasn't going to cut out all these little bits, but I can make more. But I'll use these two. Let's go with the center of this one. Like that, just a little bit more of the sienna color. I'm just talking out loud. I'm just talking like what I'm thinking while I'm doing it. And I think we'll go with maybe an orange. That's not orange enough. Let's go with an orange flower. So again, I'm just putting a little bit of scribble because it'll spread. I'm missing, Vicky's making everybody laugh in chat and I'm missing it. I hate to miss the jokes, but I only can read so much scrolly chat. Vicky's a hoot. You like the flowers? Oh, good. Okay. So again, base coated. I think maybe I will incorporate, she's got kind of red hair, but I think I will go ahead and just put this a little, just to indicate that I'm going to have that orange. And just do a bit of it there. And then I'll tie the, color the rest in with color pencils. But just so I know I want that orange in that part of her dress. Because I'm trying to tie them together, remember? Okay, I kind of like the daisy white. Now I just need a center for that flower. I think I'll go with the yellow ochre again. Although my yellow ochre is kind of, I think it got a little ink in it and it got a little gray. But, a little too much of the ink. Okay, so from the printer. Okay, I think that'll do. I think I'm just going to go with that. All right, and I think maybe, do I want that one colored too around the edge, or do I want to just white? Because I like, a contrast is nice too, and I don't know what color page I'm putting them in, so I think I'm going to leave that. Same in here, I can put little designs later. Because I don't want it yellow ochre, I don't really want it brown. I'll leave it white for now. Okay, so there's just some base coat. All right, so let me go ahead and dry this real quick. All right. And it's a good idea too, if you want to have a little less wrinkles, if you dry the back. See where the ink is coming through a little bit. It kind of helps level out the paper a little bit. But you really want it really, really dry. Judy Patootie, do the Neo washes work as well as acrylic washes? Um, I did that chart showing it. Again, it's going to depend on the paper and how big. On something small like this, I don't know that it matters that terribly much. On small little areas like this, it would matter if I wanted to do a big background, like solid black acrylic. I would not want to do a wash for when I wanted a solid color. I'll show you that color book that I showed just a minute that I looked in over the weekend as an example. Just 1 second. See where the ink is kind of coming through, the printer ink? Because again, I just printed these out on copy, it's a little thicker copy paper, but it's not like cardstock. Because I'm going to cut it out. I did not want it on thick cardstock. Okay, let me see. So for instance, at the beginning of not this part of the show, but earlier, I did a recording on my new color books. And this is the one I bought over the weekend. It's the Time Chamber. Jean has the Time Garden. And it's the same little fairy and the same little girl in the stories by the same author, Daria Song. And but they're just two different stories, maybe a continuation of it or whatever. But I did this start of this one over the weekend, and it's not showing up because it's a double page spread. I'm zoomed in. But the background here and here, this right here is acrylic paint straight on. Maybe just a little bit of water to keep it, flowing, but it's not watered down. It's just maybe, with a little bit of water in it just to make it move. And then I did the stars over it with the gel pen. This is marker, just cheap kids, this cheap Recollection brand. I think they were 24 markers for $4 and maybe $4.95, and I had a coupon, so I got like 24 markers for like $2. However, now a couple of things. These cheap markers, whether it's the Crayola ones, like I use these super tip Crayola ones, whether it's these or whether it's these, and this is where Jess is going to jump in. See, you need the Copics. Water-based. These are not watercolor markers that'll blend with each other. They're just cheap water-based markers. They will pill your paper pretty quick. You can't go over and over and over and over. Your paper will start to pill, come up. The fibers will come up with water-based. Whereas with Copics, that doesn't happen from my understanding. That's what, Cam and, Jess and them will say. But for a color book, if you're, just keep it moving. I just wanted a base coat of the yellow. Then I went in and shaded with the color pencil. Okay. I got the Faber-Castell markers in a sub box last week, and the Crayolas are better. Oh, the Crayolas are better than the Faber-Castell markers. Well, I guess it just depends on what kind. The Faber-Castell Pit pens are awesome. Now, I only have the browns, the blacks, the dark ones, because I use them more for liners and, more so than like coloring, blending or anything. But I know that the Pit pens will blend and things like you can do a lot of things with those Faber-Castell Pit pens. With like if it's on gesso and stuff, you can blend them with your finger and water and all kinds of things you can do with them. That's not my purpose with using markers. I want a base coat. So same for these little windows. I base coated them in with just the cheap marker, and then I shade with color pencil. Okay, so this is the one, and again, I did show it. I'm trying to show the whole thing here. I kind of wanted an inverted dimensional worlds, because to me this pagoda looked like it was upside down. So if I turn it upside down, see how you can see like the pagoda looks like it's floating upside down in her little world. So that's the look I'm going for. So I have the stars on the bottom, the light at the top, with the windows kind of inverting the the dimensions, and then I'll try to do the same thing with all the stairs going around to make it look like you're going, in that direction. And then the little tassels are, I used a wash of, I think I used a wash of just some acrylic, but then I went over them a little bit with this marker and then made sure that was dry. And then with the gel pen, added a little bit of tassels, like flowy tassels on top, and kind of just blended it in with where the edges touched, so it didn't look like a harsh line where you touched it. And so that's what I did. I kind of gave a little explanation of that on the beginning show. And that's just all I've colored in this book so far, is just that. Love those windows. Would have loved to see you do those. Well, I'll show you how I did the windows. Here's the window. Okay, that's a window right there. I colored the whole thing in with yellow. Let it dry. In this case, I'll hit it with the heat gun real quick, because even that's still wet. It's got to be dry. When it was dry, then I just took a sienna and an ochre. Okay. And on this side, on these windows, I had the shadow on this side. On these windows, I had the shadow on this side. So let's just have the shadow on this side for the sake of coloring this in. So I just kind of did that. Then with the yellow ochre, I blended into the yellow. And that's it. That's all I did. Window by window. I love your technique. I'm using it on my first color book. Oh, what color book are you starting in, Judy Patootie? So that's it. That's how I did every window. A little neater, but that's the idea. Okay. So that I just wanted to show you, though, that that's just a base coat with a little bit of shadow around there. I want it real light at the top. I'm not going to add any other shadows or anything. Okay. And the black is just a black acrylic paint with stars added with the gel pen or white pen, or you can use marker, paint pen. You can use acrylic paint. You can use a gel pen. Funny. That's funny. I do tend to go, oh, okay. Had 2 ads just when you started to color. There's really nothing to it. It's just a yellow square. Okay. Let me dry it. A sienna and an ochre. And I just went around the side here. And then the yellow ochre, just kind of blended the sienna into the yellow. Of course, you take a little more time. I'm just showing you how I did it, but you can do it a little, neater. That's all. That's it. Okay. All right. So let me move this out of the way, and let's get back to this girl and her flowers. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just do a little bit of coloring. All right. Let me move my Neo colors out of the way. I think I'm done with them. I'll leave them open over here just in case I need them, but I think I'm done with those. Okay. Oh, you're working in Anamorphia? Oh, good. Judy Patootie Anamorphia. I do want to get back to that. Different ones have asked. Carrie's working in it. Although right now she just did some beautiful blue flowers. Maybe she'll put a link to her own stuff. Yeah, you got to watch those Vicky links. You'll end up buying all of Amazon. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see. Let me move my pencils a little closer in. And let's just start with a nice bright orange here. Okay, again, I'm working on something, so I'm not going to be picking up the bumps and lumps in my paper on my desk. Okay. Any questions? Hey, Jean. Jean, I was just showing. I won't do it again right now because I did a full review at the part 1. But you got the time garden. I got the time chamber. And it's the same little girl and the same little fairy, but it's a different story. So, and by the same author as well. Okay, so now I'm just going to start doing a little bit of shadowing around. Whoops, there it goes. It broke. Doesn't matter what pencil sharpener I'm using. Don't email me. Sherry and I just seem to have the pencils that break the easiest. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little bit of I'm not going to get a whole lot of detail. You can spend a lot of time doing each petal. I'm just wanting to kind of be able to get it done enough so I can cut it out and start incorporating it in the mixed media journal. Because that, after all, is what Carla's magazine is. See it crumbling? It's crumbling. I'm telling you, it's just crumbling. I'm going to have to get out my Eileen pencils. I don't know if I have enough colors. Let me see. Let me get my Eileen pencils out here. I keep them in my little bag. I did take them out of the box. These are the polychromos. Polychromes. Eileen sent me a nice set right there. So we might have enough in here to work with. And so I try to remember to use these when, when I need basic colors. And that did not say basically. I said basic colors. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of these too. All right, so let me go ahead and put that one aside. And now I'm going to get out the light orange. And you can mix your pencils. You can use different ones together. It's like, and the polychromos are nice and bright and vibrant. I like the Prismacolor. 1, they're cheaper. 2, they're soft. I love the softness. What I don't like about them is the breakage. Yes, so we won't get into that. I try not to, fuss too much about it. So I'm just kind of some of this yellow orange, blending it into the darker orange. I'm not spending a lot of time. I'm just quickly, and I can probably do it faster than, if you're just starting out, but. Oh, I'm sorry, the luminance, not the polychromos. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I said that, Eileen. I totally know that. They're the luminance. Sorry. Which are even more expensive than the polychromos. That's why I only have my Eileen set. But they are awesome. They are awesome, Eileen. I do love them. It's just that I don't have enough colors to do like portraits, and they're expensive. I just can't, You're trying to get me to buy these. Jess is trying to get me to buy Copics. Yeah, I got it. Luminance. Yeah. Yeah, these are the Cadillac of pencils. Yeah, Lucy Jane's going. The Cadillac of pencils. Yeah, Swiss made by Caran d'Ache. So they're the same people that make the Neocolor 2s. The Swiss company Caran d'Ache, and I may not be, pronouncing that correctly. Don't email me. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, so there we go on that. I think I'll take a little bit of let's see which one of these yellows. One's more ochre and one's more yellow. I'm going to take the yellower one, and just kind of, I don't want to fill this in. I want to leave it kind of white because I may put a word in there or something. I don't know. But I'm just going to kind of circle around the inside here just a little bit with a light bit of yellow. Give it just a little more roundness, And I think I'll go back with the orange and just pull that orange in just a little bit into the center. Like that. Just, I want to keep it kind of white. Yes, they make our Neocolors. Do you ever use blender pencil? I have once, when you say once in a blue moon, that's about how I have 1 or 2 lying around here somewhere, and I've used them on special occasions when the paper seem to need more blending than I could, like maybe say like a watercolory type paper that's more textured, and I can't really dig in. I don't want to dig in with pencil, and you have to almost dig in even with a white to get it to blend on, say, a textury paper. But I rarely use such a rough textured paper that I needed to do that. Most of my portraits are done on the tan paper. It's not textury, so I don't need to use a blender pencil. Okay, and I never use any of the mineral spirits or the blender pen, the liquid blender, Prismacolor marker blenders, or any of the liquid stuff. I don't use any liquid stuff. It's all pencil on top of dried washes if I need a wash. My faces, my portraits are all, the faces themselves are all pencil. Although, except with the exception of maybe a highlight in a white in an eye or on a tooth, where I need a very, very bright white, I'll put a little bit of a white acrylic in an eye or on a tooth or something like that. But I will use acrylic washes under hair and clothing. I broke down and used a blending stump. There's nothing wrong with using a blending stump. Nothing wrong with it at all. And if you get a waxy buildup, you can take a Kleenex and kind of rub it around a little so it's less obvious. Um, you know, and in color book pages, I have to tell you, I don't care how much waxy buildup I get on a color book page. I just don't care. It can waxy build up till the cows come home. But when I do my portraits, I'm a little bit more particular. But that's okay. It's okay. The problem with waxy buildup, it's other than that you can see it being reflected in the light weird. The problem with getting the waxy buildup is you can't blend layers. Once that waxy buildup comes up, your layers will not blend. You're just coating another waxy layer on top. It won't blend. So there ends the rub with the waxy buildup. It's not even so much the way it looks. It's that it won't blend. Yeah, you can use a Q-tip or a Kleenex or anything to get some of the wax. But the thing is even when you blend it, like let's just say this got real waxy, okay? Let's say there's a total buildup of wax on there. If I took a Kleenex or a Q-tip or something and rubbed it out, the waxy part will be smoother. It won't reflect the light all wonky. It'll be a nice, smooth, waxy buildup. But it's still a waxy buildup. And if I go to try to blend on top of it, no amount of rubbing with a Kleenex is going to get rid of that waxiness. It's still waxy. So when I go to blend another color on top, it's layering. It's not blending. Sorry, don't mean to yell. Get my teacher voice. Where's Jean? Get my teacher voice in there. Sorry, guys. So anyway, it's not such a terrible thing to have the waxy buildup as far as, you can kind of blend it out with a Kleenex or something to get the the pencil strokes from showing so much, but it's still built up. It's still a buildup of wax. Now, granted, you got your luminance, you got your polychromos, and those kind of things where there's not the waxy buildup as like the Prismacolors. Personally, I just like the Prismacolor because the softness. You can blend and blend and blend and blend and blend as long as you take it slow. They'll blend forever as long as you don't get waxy buildup. That's why I say you got to take it light layers. Okay, so and as far as the other stuff, I know a lot of people have great results with using the Prismacolor colorless blender markers that will move the pencil around, move the wax around, move the pigment around and all. I just don't like putting wet stuff on my pages. I don't feel like I need to use that. I'm not saying don't ever use it. Whatever works for you. Okay, so now I'm going to get in here with the, It's kind of a, it's not quite sienna, it's not red, it's kind of in between. So I'm just going to kind of shade a little bit. Again, I know I'm kind of far away. I don't want to zoom in too much and lose, where it gets too pixelated. I think you can kind of see what I'm doing from here, although I can kind of zoom in a little. But I'm just adding a little bit more of a red brown to some of the shadow areas. I can't find a good peach or tan color in any brand apart from Prismacolor. But I can't get Prismacolor. Why can't, oh, are you in a country you can't get Prismacolor? I mean, I would think that you could order online. Any country you can order online. Can't you? I could blend like Dede. I wouldn't use anything either. Yeah, and it does take practice. I mean, I've been doing portraits for a long, long time, with color pencil. So I didn't just, this isn't my first color pencil rodeo. I'm sorry. I just thought that was funny. Now my eyes are watering. I gotta go get some coffee, guys. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness. Okay. Ah, that made me giggle. Yeah. Well, yeah, we all take that chance. Even, I take that chance every time I order from Blick as well. You don't know if they're centered. Yeah. If you all don't know what I'm talking about or we're talking about, is when you buy individual pencils, you can check the core on a Prismacolor and make sure it's centered. If it's not centered, the pencil's going to break when you sharpen. Let me see, I don't know if I have one. Let me see if I found an old one here. That's not centered. I'm real careful to buy them individually. Here's one. Okay. But if you buy them in sets, you kind of take your chance. Okay, so Amazon has 48 pack of Prismacolors for $38. Thank you, Secret David. He's turning in quite the enabler, isn't he? Okay, so this one is not terrible, but it is off center. And I wanted to find one. This is like a leftover one here. So let's see if you can see the difference here. See how centered that is? That's on the ochre. Now let's see if I can put my fingers around. See how that one is not? See how that's not centered? Can y'all see that? If you twist it a little, you can see it real obvious. See how that's not centered? This will break every time you try to sharpen it. These are a pain in the patootie right here. So yeah. Okay, let's go back to the Luminance. These are very expensive, people. Just saying. The Caran d'Ache, but you're paying for quality as well. These will probably never, ever break when you're sharpening them. I could probably throw these down on the sidewalk and the core will not break. Just saying. These are awesome pencils, but they're expensive. Okay, so let's go. I think I'm going to leave that orange now. Let's go up here to the center of this one. Again, I'm trying to use my Eileen set right here. Let's kind of keep them right here so everybody can ooh and ah over them. They're not in color order. I don't have them in color order, but let's go with the kind of the orange again and start doing a little bit of and you can also go in here, guys, with your cheap water-soluble markers. But be aware, when I go to glue these in my art journal, I'm not going to get any matte medium or glue or anything on top that could smear it. I might end up putting a quick cloud or something across the top, or I could do a waterfall or a quick drip or something, but it will move if I put like a marker. For instance, let's just take, let me get a marker. Let me get one of these Crayolas. I have a ton of these. They're just the cheap Crayola, kids markers, which are fine for things like this. So now I'm going to let me do a little test here to make sure it's the color I want. Okay, I think this one's run out. I had bought a new set, so they're just mixed together though. That's not orange enough. Let me get a kind of this might be too salmony. Let's see. What color that's going to show up for you. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and get an orange. But all those little dots, the little seed pods or the little shaded seed parts, don't throw it on the sidewalk. It will break. Okay, well, I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying they're sturdy, good pencils. I would have the art police come and remove those poor abused colors. I'm not going to throw them on the sidewalk, people. I love them. They have their own special home. I took them out of the box, and rubber banded them together, but they have their own little cushioned bag, all their own that they live in. Okay, so with the kids markers, I can go in here and do, some little extra, like the little dots, okay, the little seed dots on here. But this is water. This is water. So if you go in there with any kind of, anything over the top of this, it's going to smear because it's just water, kids watercolor water based. I'm trying to distinguish between watercolor because there are nice expensive markers that Eileen has that are watercolor markers, and they'll blend and act just like watercolors. These are just water based as opposed to an alcohol based marker like Copic. Okay. All right. So there you go. So that's what you can do with just a little bit of the marker. See? Now I still have to do all the blending out of this. All right. So that's just something you can do with these cheap markers. Now let me move my markers out of the way so I can get to the pencils. And I want to get to a dark purple and a light. Okay, no, that's too light. Let me get my bundle of purples. Here's my light purples and my dark. So my Prismacolors, I bundle them by color. Light purples, dark purples. I have an orange bundle, a red bundle, a brown bundle, a gray bundle. What did Hootie say? I'm afraid to ask. Cradles are luminous and whispers. It's okay, Dede. Calendar just said she's cradling her luminance pencils and whispers. It's okay. Dede can't get to you. Okay. All right. So now the eyes are watering again. Thank you, Calendar. I'm going to get the dark purple. Or a dark purple, and I think I'm going to get a light purple. Do I want maybe this one? No, I think I will go back with this lilac color. It'll give it a little more contrast. Okay. Good one. That was a good one. Yeah, okay, so Eileen's talking the clean color markers. That's what they're called, Eileen. And I wrote it down. I just haven't had a chance to really even go look for them or anything. And I'm not sure Eileen got the luminance. I think she got them out the Amazon because I got an Amazon box during a stream. I got the box broke. Oh, go figure. Surprise. I got the box during a stream and I opened it on stream a few months ago. I got the one luminous. Judy goes, I got my one luminance at Blix. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of shading. It's a different kind of purple. This is more of a lavender purple or red purple, violet purple than the blue purple. But I'm wanting some of that, I want some of that color contrast. And this flower is kind of loopy. It's kind of got loops and loops of petals. So I'm not even trying to color every individual petal. I'm more just trying to do a shading of a few shades of purple. And then out here on toward the edges, I want to do a little bit more of the violet color. Again, I'm getting ready to cut all these out. Maybe, if we get to it, we've already been here an hour. I need to get crack-a-lacking, and we're not going to have time to put it in the art journal. Okay? But you can take, your markers, and you could do other things, make more loops. Now I'm going to cut this off, but you just to show you can do other things. Markers are great for adding special touches to your color books, adding textures. Like let's just go ahead and let me get one of the babies right here. Pet. I'm going to get kind of the red, the kind of sienna. And I do want to I'm going to go up into the yellow up here, because I do want that kind of sienna color. I'm doing this really fast, guys. I'm trying to get crack-a-lacking. But I want it to look a little bit more depth in the core of the center of the flower here. All right, but I want to also show you what you can do with the markers. Okay, so now I'm just going to color the whole thing in here. And they last longer too, because they're not as soft as a Prismacolor. You don't have to sharpen them quite as much. Well, not near as much actually. Okay, so I just want to just do a quick like that for now, because I want to show you what you can do. Let me grab a marker again. Let me get a brown. Let me get a dark brown here. It's brown, but I don't know if it's going to be dark enough. Try this one. Let's try one of these two. Red, brown, and a brown. Kind of purpley. Doesn't matter as long as it shows up. All right, so see how they have those, the stripes are already going this way? We'll chop, Mama. Let's get going. I'm trying. Secret David. Okay, so what I'm thinking of is doing, just another, make it a little more textured. Now, if you had the time, you could even go in there and, color in some of those little, it's not quite dark enough. I almost need black. Maybe a purple. Let's try the dark purple. I want the kind of checkerboard look on the inside. So you can take your markers and do other things, okay? More textures. I could put dots in here. I could put little lines, little stripes, whatnot. Okay, let's pet our babies again, and let's go in with a little bit of the yellow ochre. So I'm going to take the yellow ochre and go kind of over the sienna. It's not quite enough it's not quite enough close enough to blend it exactly like I'd like. See, there's the problem with not having enough variation of color. I would want this to be a kind of an in-between color here. But I'm going for it. I'm going to just kind of blend this out kind of quickly. Let me just turn here. Because I think you'll get the idea. All right. And it could almost get a little darker in there. Let me get a black or a dark brown. I'm not sure this is black. Not sure how black. This might be too black. But just to get a little bit more contrast between the center and probably should have been dark brown, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to get the yellow. Let's see, I have not quite the bright. This is not the brightest yellow. This is the second brightest yellow. So I'm going to just kind of blend a little bit more all the way around. And you could get in there in between each petal too, which, you know, I would probably do that more like after I got all this base coating done. All right, now I'm going to take the brightest yellow that's in my Eileen set, Pet, and go on the very tips. And again, I'm not even worried about going out of lines because I'm going to cut these out and paint them into my mixed media journal. So hope everybody's enjoying it. I'm having fun. I don't know about you guys. What do you do with your, that is what you do with your 150 Prismas is you pet? Yes, we pet. All right, so there we go. Now, what I was going to say is you can go in here with your, like I'll go back in here with the browner color, the sienna color, and you can go in there and start shading more in particular around, you know, more individual petals, and then go back and blend those in. But you could like shadow behind each petal if you wanted. So you can see you can go in there and start shading, which I'm not taking the time. You can see I'm really rushing this, guys. I'm really kind of rushing this because I want to get in there and get it in the book. And then we can add more even when it's in the book. But it is better if you're going to glue your, color book pages, especially if you print it out thin, and glue them into a book. It's best to color them before you put them in your book, because once you put them in a mixed media book, especially if you have other paints and, you know, crusty bits and all that in your mixed media book, to try to color over that, like, let me see, of course, it's not quite as bad as a rubber band in your book, but let's just say you have some crusty bits in your book and you want to color. See how it just makes dents and marks. You can't color smoothly if you got crusty bits. So yeah. All right. Now I think in this daisy, I'm going to go in here with, oh yes, I do have a sky blue in my Eileen set. Well, actually, no basically and no actually. Technically, Eileen, this needs to be blended out more. You know, I'm not, you know, it really should be blended out a little better than what I've done here. Take a little bit more time to really blend out those colors. I did it a little quick. But you do want to take your time, and you can go in there with each individual petal and really, you know, be careful and accurate around each one. I'm trying to get us over to the other book, and we're not making very good time. Okay, so with white, I like to use grays and blues for shadow. So it just so happens that Eileen's set has a nice sky blue. So I'm just going to go in here and just add a little bit of sky blue on the white for shadow. Not going crazy, just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, I could go in there with a little bit more gray. Let's see, is this a gray? Kind of a gray. Go in there and just a little bit more around the center. A little bit darker gray. Kind of pull that out too. So I'm trying to work with just my 24 colors. Trying to work, I think it's 24. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 16. I think it's 20 or 24. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to call the flowers. Oh, no, you know what I really do need? Maybe I'll just go in there with the light lavender and just color those little white things around there. Oh, I missed a petal right there. Let me go in there with my yellow ochre. I missed one of the daisies. Oops, that's the wrong color. I want to go in here with that one daisy petal I missed. There we go. All right. But you can go in here with your marker. You could do all kinds of little things. Let's just put one little dot in each one of those little petals, just to show you. See, you can add your own little designs and doodles and whatever. Now, let me just say this. Jess has said you do not want to use your Copic markers on top of your waxy pencils because it can ruin your markers. I don't know if you just do it one time, it'll ruin it, but it's kind of like a Sharpie. When you take a Sharpie marker and you try to use it on acrylic paint, the Sharpie will dry out in like 5 seconds trying to use it over acrylic paint. Well, you don't want to use your expensive Copics on top of waxy colors. These little kids water soluble kids colors, it's fine. You're not ruining them. And now you do want to make sure it's dry, especially if you have a big waxy buildup. It's going to take a minute for that to dry on top. And I still wouldn't recommend putting anything wet on top of it because it will probably smear. Okay, so that one's it. We're going to call, oh wait, I did have to do this leaf. Let me go in here now. Let me get my green, oh, here's an olive. Okay, we got an olive. So I'm just going to go in here and just do a little bit of shading, just a little bit there, and maybe just a little bit with my lime green in there too. Okay, just a little bit, just to get that, because I'm going to cut that leaf out separately anyway. Okay, all right. Let's go over, so there we go. There's our flowers. I'm going to cut them out in a minute. Let's get over to the girl here. And this is a good place also to use your markers. Like, let me get a green. Let me get an olive green. Okay. I'm going to go in here with the green and just quickly color in those little leaves. I could do this with color pencil, but there's not a lot of blending. So if I got a nice kind of greeny olive color, I can just go in there and use a little marker. No questions, no comments. Okay, just making sure. So I'm just going to color those real quick. And I said earlier that what I'm going to do with this is kind of not fussy cut in the sense of going, right up against the leaf. I'm going to leave a little bit of a white edge that I will blend in, hopefully blend in when I put it in the book. All right. Let's do these little leaves in her hair here. She's got she's got a couple leaves and a little flower or something. Here's another one. I'll cut the little bird out separately too. All right, let's do all these little leaves. I would probably do each one of these leaf types a different shade of green. Right now I'm just using all the same shade just to make it a little quicker. But if you want to get a little bit more, accurate with all different shades of green, you could, put variations of the color. So that's just, a little quick marker addition. Could go in there, and add a little bit of more. And you could also do this with a color pencil or both. So just mix it up, people. Mix it up. All right. The little, what do you call those things? Wheat. I'm just going to go right over the wheat. With some ochre. Again, you could go in there and start defining some shading and all that. I'm just trying to get it colored, so we got to move on. Oh, I missed her little hand in there. Let me get a little color pencil in there to finish shading in her hand. I'm going to do it a little bit more on her face and everything. I'm just getting all the leaves and everything done first. Go in here. All right, with the orange. And just get that bodice of her dress colored in. And I started with the Neo color. Doing it pretty quick here. I want to move on. I still have to cut out and find a page and Okay, we got at least another hour. We're good. Time-wise. This is why I wanted to do this separately from the first part, because I knew with an hour of color book show and tell and Happy Mail, we would not have finished this at all. We wouldn't have been coming close to finishing. All right, so her hair, I wanted kind of red. So I think I'll just, oh, wait, whoa, coming back over here. Let's get our kind of an orangey red. I'm just going to kind of just going with the curls. Go back in here with, I could use some silver star gel in her hair, and I'll probably highlight each one of those little braids, maybe with a little bit of white. Let's see here. Okay. Just want her hair to be red. And then when I put her in the book, I might have some flyaways or something like that. Let's color the little bird a little bit. Oh, let's see, I want this kind of midnight blue color here. So I'll just put a little bit of that down and then go back in with some white to kind of blend it. That. Take the white. Although, now I do have to say, the Prismacolor white is the best for blending color pencil. It's so soft. Now this is working fine for this little area here, but the Prismacolor white is just my favorite, breakage and all. Am I moving off camera? I'm probably just creeping down here. You can't even see me. My colors are moving down. Okay. Let's have her have some pretty blue eyes. So I'm going to put a little bit of dark blue right under the lid. And then I'm going to take the light. But I'm trying to use my luminance as much as possible. Then we'll put a light blue. And we'll also shadow under the eyelids just a little bit. I know she's kind of a cartoon looking girl. I mean, she's not realistic. I don't mean cartoon, but she's not realistic. Then in the pupils, especially when you print out, you don't get a dark black sometimes. So I'm going to take my black Faber-Castell Pit and make her pupils darker and probably her eyelashes too. Because they're not showing up a lot. So I'm just going to add a little bit of black in there, and then I'm going to take a white gel pen, or where's my white? And put one little dot of bright white. Okay, so there's our little eyes. Let's just put a tiny bit of a red lip. It's not like a portrait here where I have to shade everything out. But I'm trying to do a little bit. I'll just put a little pink in her cheeks. She has some little freckles. Those would be fun to define as well. And I don't have a flesh tone in this set, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the pink and kind of do a little bit of shading with the pink that's in this set, my Eileen set. I'm just using light pressure to kind of blend it in. Now, this doesn't mean I can't use my Prismacolor. I'm just challenging myself right at the moment to use just these for a minute. Thanks, Vicki. All right, let's get under her neck. Kind of blend that in. Okay, I got another couple of leaves right here. Another one here, another one there. Where else do I have any little leaves? All right. Okay, I think I'm going to just leave it at, other than maybe, let me get my white pencil. You know, a few little highlights in her braids or something. Again, I could be taking more time, but I want to get her into the book. Okay, we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that right now, guys. I do have to blend a little bit of her cheeks here. And you want to keep cleaning off your white pencil. Otherwise, you're going to be moving the pigment of your previous colors into unknown territory. Like I'm going to do her red lips right there. So if you can see, there's red on that pencil. See it? So now if I took that red and started, say, go down here on her neck, it's going to leave a red mark. So you always want to keep cleaning off your lighter colors. So just kind of blend that in a little bit. All right, we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave her like that. Oh, wait, I got her hands. Dang. Okay, let me put a little pink. Put a little pink in her hands. Just kind of real quick. Okay. And it's much lighter. There we go. There's the color. Quick. It showed it for just a second. There we go. That's more true color right there. And again, probably need to go in here with some lime green and start kind of blending out the leaves a little. I'm going to leave those little flowers white. Those little tiny, like daisy looking flowers. All right. I know this is quick, guys, but it does show you can do a quick color book page. Bye, Lynn. Thanks for stopping in as long as you did. Enjoy your color books, Lynn. Okay. There we go. All right, so there's our 2 pages, quickly done. I might do those little flowers another color once we get it into the book. Same thing for the shading on her dress. We forgot to shade her dress. Hang on, guys. Oh, because I've been concentrating on using Eileen's pencils. Let's see here. I just don't really have a dark purple. I don't know if this gray will, let me test this gray. No, it's too gray. All right, well, let me go ahead and do the ochre in her sleeves and the little accented parts here. Okay, this is another good place to show on the marker. Okay, so I'm just going to do a little shading on the lacy area here. But you can take, let me see if I can find let's test this color. No, it's too yellow. Let's test this color. Ah, here we go. And those little designs in her outfit, I'm going to go over. Let me show you the 2 different. So like those little designs in her outfit, see, I'll go over it with the marker. Kind of define them. Same thing for any little pleats, any other little doodads. So I'm just going to kind of do some little accents with the marker on top of the little shading that I just did. Minimal as it was. But this will make your little design stand out. All right, I am going to have to get over here in my Prismacolors for that dark purple. Oh, where is it? Just had it out. Where's that dark purple I just had? Is this it? Yeah. kind of a black cherry. Let's kind of put a little bit of shading in there with that. Again, these little tiny little designs and things, these are perfect for using your markers in. The little ribbon sleeved areas. I don't even know how much y'all can see of this. Okay, so I'm gonna I don't even know if I'm going to use this bottom part of this dress or not. Quickly. And I get in a hurry, but I kind of have to sometimes or we don't finish. But it does kind of show you that you don't have to take days to do a color book page. You don't have to go as fast as I'm having to try to finish here. But you don't have to take days on some of these bigger elements, you know? All right, let me go back to Eileen's, the lavender. And kind of just put a little bit of blending with the lavender on top of the purple Neo Color 2 base wash. Hopefully y'all can see something. All right, let me go back with the purple and do some of this ribbon right here. Right here. Right here. And right along the neckline. All right. Oh, right along her sleeve. Did I miss any more ribbon? Okay. I think you get the idea anyway. Let's see if I can pick up the color because it's, there we go. Sorta. I have it really light so you could see the coloring part, but it is flashing out the colors. All right, sip of coffee. Whose birthday is it and did they get a card? Hootie Patootie. I think I sent you one. You probably haven't got it yet because I think you just told me your birthday. But I think I sent you a card. Hey, Paula. All right, so there we go. So what I'm going to do with her, I do need a little bit redder lips. Let me fix her little lips a little better. I'm going to show up a little. All right. So again, let me see if I can get you to see the color. There. It's a little better right there. You can see it's darker than it looks right here. Okay. All right. So here's the flowers. Now what I'm going to do is kind of quickly check chat while I'm watching chat. Oh, wait. Let's put the babies away. Let's put the babies to bed. These live with my vintage barrels from Paula. They live together in happy harmony in a little bag. All right, so let's put those up here. The markers. Put those back in their little bag and let's cut. All right. All right, I'm going to back out now. Autofocus, and then you may be able to see some of the colors a little better. All right, here we go. Still a little fuzzy. Hang on, guys. Let me try to focus it a little better. Whoop. I don't know. Yeah, good night, pencils. Okay, I think I'm going to tear along the bottom here because it's easy. I always tell you it's easier to blend a torn edge than a cut one. And I'm not sure where I'm going to go with her dress. So I'm just going to tear that out. And remember I said what I'm going to do is I'm not going to so-called fussy cut. I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white edge. Again, if it was torn, it would be up better. But we don't have time to fussy tear. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of a white edge, just enough so that I can get close in. But at the same time, I'm going to add her into an art journal page. Get rid of some of the excess there. So I'm not like literally going right up next to the image. Just leaving enough so I can glue her into my book. Now let me get some of this off here. And it's best to move your picture rather than the scissors when you can. Okay, so I can go right up against her face right there. I don't know that I need all those little dots. Will you color the eyebrows? I can color the eyebrows for you, Crocker 2. All right, Crocker 2 is worried about her eyebrows. Not worried. I'm just playing with you. All right, I'm going to cut the bird separately too. Yes, I will. I will cut her eyebrows. I want to kind of cut around her face because I don't want to have to try to blend her face into the thing here. It's be easier not to have to worry about getting that blended in when I don't need to, because I don't have to worry about going around little areas. Even these leaves, this could be more. All right, stopping for a minute, grabbing a sienna, or let's just go with like a little bit of I'm going to put a little bit of red in her eyebrows because some people think she looks naked without them. Okay, let's go back here. All right, I'm going to cut the bird out separately. Again, I'm just going to kind of go around it with a white edge because I can paint that in if I need to. I mean, I could always really fussy cut them out, but... All right, let's put the little bird up there so we don't lose him. Trying to be a little quick here because we're going to run out of time. Let's go around this. Again, all this part that's white is going to get painted in. So I'm not even being careful to make sure the white is like the same amount of space all around because it's going to get painted in, hopefully. We have time. Okay. Let's go right around this one leaf. There we go. Okay, now let's do the flowers. See how good she looks on just even a black background? You're happy now? Okay. Okay, again, I'm not going to cut these stems or these little things out here. But if I like the look of the stem, I can always just add that in. We'll see how that goes. Now, I think I will fussy cut this more, just because I might as well. And I'm not cutting the stems. I'll add those in myself. Let's just go ahead and get rid of all that. Because, you know, we're the boss of our color book page. I still have to find where I'm going to put it in my art journal. I have not picked out a page or looked at, you know, I'm going to do a flip through and see where we can put this. Thanks, everybody, for being here. If I missed saying hello to you, it's not because I was ignoring you. I'm just trying to get crack-a-lack in here. So we have time to do a mixed media page in the journal. Oh, let me show you this tip too. If you want to cut out something like here in the middle, instead of trying to like poke in there and do it, just follow a line into that area and then cut it out. And once it's glued down, you're never going to know where you cut into a line that you're keeping. Somehow I'm getting hung up though. Let's turn it this way. There we go. So, in other words, see, I cut through that line right there, but when I glue that down, all you're going to see is, you're not going to see where it's been cut. See, same thing for over here. All I have to do is just follow this line of this flower up to that and then cut it out. Now, it's going to be held on by a thread, so, you know, technically, you could probably just cut this separately and layer it back up. But that's a way to get inside of areas that you want to cut. I'm going to go ahead and leave a little bit more of a stem than it's there because I want to keep them together. But you can... So, in other words, that's all jaggedy right there, but when you glue it back down, you're not going to be able to tell that it's been cut, and then you have your open space cut out. Does that make sense? Okay. And you probably want to do that last, because now I'm going to have to hold on to this so I don't tear it off. Because the thinner, it's easier to get the background cut out and then go back into the thin areas. Did y'all just want to sit here and see me fussy cut, right? Thanks, Vicki. Yeah. I'll tell you who's probably an expert fussy cutter, and that's Sherry. Although she does have some dies and things that match up with some of her stamps and all, a lot of that stuff she's had to fussy cut on those doll things and the little clothes, and a lot of it's just, and then piecing it back together. Oh my gosh, they're just awesome. All right, almost done, guys, almost done. Then we'll get out the journal and see where we can add this. That was the quickest fussy cutting I've done in I don't know how long. All right, let me get all these. Oh, I did want to keep this leaf. Might or might not use it, but we're going to keep the leaf along with the little bird up there. And I am going to just set these stems over here to kind of remind me what they look like. So if I do want to incorporate those stems hand drawn in, then I've got a little bit of a reference there. All right, move all this stuff back. Okay. Now, let me get my journal. And if y'all missed it, this is the page that I colored for Sketchy. They had a little challenge, and they posted some black and white drawings for people to color. And this is the one that I did for them. I showed it on part 1 more in depth. But okay. So, this is the current journal I'm working in, other than the huge, humongous, my big, this one, hang on. My big giant moly. This is the giant moly that's, I don't even know what size it is. But I deconstructed, I took it all apart so we could do mixed media. It's 12 by 13, 14, 15, 12 by 16 and a half, I think. And I've taken it apart, and the last page that we did in it was this one. So we did this page a couple weeks ago, and it's on stream. And this is the same type of thing that I want to kind of do with what the page we're going to do today. All right, I think that's just my lawn guy. Let me just peek out the window. don't have to answer. They have to ring the doorbell to let me know they're here, but I don't have to answer it. So I'm not being rude. I just don't have to answer the lawn man. Um, so anyway, that's what this book is. It's all pages partially done, and I'm not going to go through it because I've already gone through this book like last week, or I mean 2 weeks ago when we did this page. So we used a napkin. This was a napkin. This is a collage bit, and then a little bit of watch. Hand drew all the rest of this, all paint. That's all hand painted in. But that's kind of the idea I have for doing it in a smaller journal here with our girl. Oh. Okay, I'm kicking something under the table. All right, so I have not picked a page. I've not picked a page in the journal. We're going to... why is my camera getting... I might have to turn the light back down. I think the sun is moved and it's brightening up my room. Let me darken it just a little bit. There we go. Avon calling. All right, so this is what we have. We have this girl and the flowers. So I'm thinking it might have to be a 2-page spread because this journal, see, look how, she's going to fill a page. So I'm going to just we're going to flip through here. Now I've got some pages toward the front are kind of finished. Let me just kind of hold this color because she's the same colors. We made her to match. But I just want to kind of hold the colors handy while I'm flipping so I can find a page that I want to incorporate her. Now this one's almost done. That's already got a bit, I got to find something where there's already not something there. Although it would not bother me to, cover something up if I needed to. But I think I have enough pages in here. You found your huge moly like that, but you left it on the dark side. You were scared. Well, Paula, I have to say, I've had that one. I've had it for probably 2, maybe 3 years, and I just smack and dragged it about 6 months ago. And so I had it for a couple of years before I did anything in it. So I totally understand that. Scared of it. Oh, and Paula, I did find, I showed it on part 1. That sign and symbol book that you referenced. I was telling Carrie to message me. He goes, Paula's on. She can't record. Well, I had you on in the background, but I couldn't chat. I was barely there. I mean, you were like across the room while I was doing other things, but I was listening to you, and I heard you say you couldn't find the book. So I did show it this morning. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but yeah. You're afraid of it. It does. Mine has a thinner pages too, like the sketchbook paper. Yeah, it is the thinner paper, Paula. It's not like it's not like heavy paper. It is. It's thin. Okay, so I've got my little color flower sitting right here, right there, so I can kind of, some of these pages toward the front have more stuff added to them than not. So again, this, it's best. You can glue it in, and then color it, but you're going to be fighting those bumps underneath. Okay, so it's just best to color first. Now this is looking promising. It's a little more orange, but I'm thinking I even kind of like those glasses kind of peeking out behind her head. This might work. It's a little busy. But this is the page I like the best. Now, again, I'm going to go in here and paint around everything. So it won't be quite as busy because all this will get blended in. But I'm kind of liking that right here. Although I do not like her on this side of the page looking off the page. It's better to have her like on this side looking in. But in this case, it just doesn't work. I mean, it doesn't, with the pages, the backgrounds that I have, it almost has to be this way. So let me just kind of bookmark that one as a possibility. I have no Post-it notes. All right, let me get my little Darcy. These are not sticky, but they'll work for, marking a page. I kind of like that one. Art products smack and drag. Smack and drag. These pages have all been smack and dragged at the beginning. Okay. Oh, this is another good color combination. I'm kind of liking that because look at that behind her there. That would be nice. It's got a little too much blue in it for me. But that parrot could be wearing a full head of floral. Either way, see? See the parrot, that almost looks good. I almost like this one better than the previous one. So we're moving it over to this one now. This is my first choice now. Oh, I'm glad you're here too, Paul. I know it's hard, and it is hard for streamers to, it takes so much time. It's hard to get to other people's streams. Of course, Paula's on at night, and she had problems this last week with Ustream, but I have to watch hers the next day anyway. That doesn't, gotta kind of visualize it like that. I'm liking this the best because I can see little clouds back there. I'm liking this one so far. So we're going to save this page. I'm going to save this page. That's my number one pick so far. There's the fairies. That one's already done. This one's too much turquoise. I don't want turquoise. Then this one, she's done. This side's not. A little bit of fairy paper there. Those colors would probably work. But I've already got a steampunk girl going on, but she would look really pretty there. But I really want her on this side. Looking into the book. These colors, now there's just really nothing going on. I mean, this is like a blank canvas, so to speak. She would work right there. But there's really not a lot going on. I kind of like the other one because it's got some background going on to play with. This one needs some collage stuff before we start. That one's got too much pink. There's some of the girls, color book girls there. That's another color book girl there that we incorporated. This one's not done. Oh, do we want to under the sea? No, because I like these flowers. I don't want to cover those up. Okay, this has got a steampunk and an angel thing going on. Steampunk girl from the color book there. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. The parrot looked like either a vase for the flowers or that the flowers are like growing out of his head. So I did like that. This is a finished page here. Again, steampunk page out of the Creative Haven steampunk book. Fussy cut out. And then painted in, and then little things like this are added on. That's added on. Same thing for the little waves and things coming up here. See all that? That's all added on top of your color book page. Let's don't lose the leaf and the bird. Too much pink. I'm loving this page, and I just got to do something with it. Because I'm loving this. Just love it. I mean, I'm literally loving this. But it's not the right thing for this color book page. No. Another steampunk girl. No. Too much pink, and then the orange clashes with that pink. So this is a finished page. The little fish have been cut out of a color book. Yeah, I do like it. I enjoy this process, Vicki, kind of going through. And now, for instance, another thing too is just because I cut this, I am going to try to incorporate, keep as much of this as I can because I'm trying to kind of show Carla's magazine, the Heart Journal magazine color book pages that I took this from. So I really don't want to deconstruct it as little as possible because I want to keep the original artist work for Carla's, purposes. But if this was just me cutting out of my own color books, doing my own thing, I mean, I would not hesitate to cut that off and put it right there, cut this, or cut this part off. I would not hesitate to, cut anything away that I wanted to. But in this case, I'm trying to keep as much of the page together as possible. Okay, this is from that Floral Fashion Girl, and we did match her into this one. Something dark might be good too. No, I'm still liking the parrot the best. Too much pink because I did not incorporate any pink into the girl, so that's not really making me happy. Yeah, I think the parrot's the way to go. Although this could almost be like a little, look, that looks like the sky behind her, doesn't it? That's very pretty, but I'm still liking the parrot. There's another, that's one of the kimono girls. I'm getting toward the end here. So they're just all pages ready to add something to. All right, so we're going to go back. Where's my mark? We're going to go ahead and use these pages. It's been decided. I'm the boss of my art journal. She's going here. The flowers are going, which way do I want them? I kind of like them this way. Those are going to go there. Okay, so that's the plan right there. And then what we'll do is we're going to paint in and act like it's a collage page, which it is. The only thing is you have to be aware that, we use some Neil colors, and you can't be like putting a bunch of matte medium and stuff over this, okay? Without it, you like the parrot page too. Okay, so again, this is thicker than copy paper. It's probably about a 60-pound weight. It's not as thin as just plain old copy paper. It's a little thicker, but yet it's not cardstock. I knew I was going to cut it out and glue it into this journal, so I did not want cardstock. I wanted it thinner. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my Eileen's tacky glue, and this one's almost gone. I think I'm going to have to bust open a new jar. Let's start with the flowers. So I'm going to just move this up right here, take my flowers, and I do use quite a bit of glue. Again, I think this one's almost empty. So what I do is I put a lot of glue, and then, but don't leave it beaded like that. Don't leave it like that and glue it down. You want to put a lot of glue and then smear it out to the edges with your finger, especially on these thinner papers like this. If you left those lumpy, let me move this up a minute. If you left that lumpy, bumpy glue, which you probably can't see right now, it's going to come through. You're going to see lumps on the other side. So take it and go. I probably should have something under this because I'm going to get glue on my here. Take it all the way to the edge and off the edge. Okay? Smear the glue right off the edge. Well, it'll get rid of the bumps, and it also makes sure that all your edges are completely glued down to the edge. And sometimes, your finger, it gets a little dry around the edge. You might have to go back in there and add a little bit more to smear out on the edges. Or when you glue it down into the book, you find that you missed something. So you go back and glue that too. All right, so now I'm going to, and you're only going to get really one shot to lay this down. So there we go. All right. And then you can take something like a Kleenex just to kind of press it down because my fingers are all gluey. But that will ensure that all the edges are nice and tight. And like right here, I missed that little petal right there. So I'm going to go back in there because that bugs me. If things that I want 100% glued down, I might have missed an edge or something, I'll go back and make sure everything's glued down really well. Okay, so there's that page. Yes, okay, I missed something. I see my name in caps, Debbie. Okay. Well, that's why I like the Eileen's tacky glue. Now, I touched it with a Kleenex, but it rolls off. it rolls off your hands, like just literally rolls. See? Okay, let me put this little bit of fairy color book page in the back. Keeps falling out. All right, so now I'm going to set this back up again. Now there's wet glue here, so I'm going to get another one. So I'm not sitting her face down in the glue. All right. So again, should be doing this on black paper so you can see. But I'm putting a lot of glue. And you can put as much glue as you want as long as you smear it out. And I mean, I guess technically, if you don't like to touch glue, Vicki, you could use a card or something, but this gets it right into the paper. It gets it right into the paper and right off the edge. So it's just easier, and you can see it and you can feel it. I know you don't like to touch glue, and need a little bit more on this edge. But it really does get all the way everything glued down really nice. Okay, I need a little bit more glue right here, a little more there, and a little bit more on that edge. Because I have a light glaring on it so I can see where I've missed, some bits of glue where I'm gluing. So there we go. All right. Move this out of the way. Bring down the book and decide where I want her. Again, pretty much a one-shot deal. And she doesn't have a lot of space here. So there we go. I'll use my thumb because I got the glue on my finger. So I'll just kind of smash her down into the book. All right, now let me roll off the glue. Take a sip of coffee. It's Aleene's tacky glue, not Eileen. Yes, and I have phone books too. Yeah, I have phone books that I do that for. Most of them are the smaller ones though, because we have small phone books here, the little ones. I think I have one large phone book left. All right, so now I'm going to just kind of peel up any areas that I might have just missed. I can kind of see. That looks pretty good. Oh, a little bit right there on the tip. Because I don't like my pages coming back up. A little bit right under there. Yeah, I'm pretty much out of this glue. I need to open another jar or another bottle. Okay, I think that's good. And I keep it in a glass face down so that the glue's always ready to go. But make sure you remember to put the cap on because you can see sometimes I've forgotten. Okay. So the next step is getting out some paints. Okay, that I do need a little bit right there along the edge of her face. Right along the edge of her face. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's see. It looks like stained glass behind her. Yeah, and I kind of thought that looked like clouds, so I might make it look kind of like a sky back there. Okay, now I'm going to tilt my camera just a little. It's gonna skew the book a little, but I want it to fit in that page there. All right, any questions or anything before we get Oh, the bird. Let's see, do I want the little bird? I can almost have it like, I don't know. I'm going to hold back on the bird. And I got this extra leaf too. I just don't think I need it. I got him. If he was facing this way, I'd put him right up here. But I don't want him looking like he's flying off the page. I could put him in her hair. I think I'm going to just hold off on the bird and the leaf. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and remember I have these. But now that I put the flowers almost like a hat or he's a vase, one or the other, I don't need the stems. I was thinking that I might draw the stems in, but because it's on top of his head, I'm not going to use stems. So that's going in the trash. Okay. All right. Okay, Vicki. Hey, Mad Rat Lady. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and get a little, one of my palettes, which I just use coffee lids for my palettes. I got stacks of them. I did throw some away, but I did keep some. All right, so now I'm going to decide what colors I'm going to want to incorporate. I don't, like, I am going to want some purple up in here, but I don't want it to conflict with, like, her dress. In other words, I don't want the dress to get lost in the background. So I'm going to just pick some of the same colors that are here or incorporate them, but I don't want to lose things. All right, so, yeah, let me go ahead and get some colors out. So I'm going to go ahead and get out some. This is jack-o'-lantern orange, and I also have bright orange, but it's just an orange. And I always put way more than I need. That's why you want to have a desk journal or some kind of a, like Paula's got a ton of books where she'll just, scrape her paint on, or, collage bits. I call them my desk journals, but, because you're not going to use that much. Sometimes you put out more than you're going to need, but okay. Then I just want a dioxazine purple. And I gotta say, guys, okay, I did just bust open that. I was afraid of that. I cut my thumb the other day. Actually, I think it was yesterday. Cutting a vegetable or something, I forget. But anyway, I took the Band-Aid off so I could stream, because the cut is like right there on the tip of my thumb. So right now, I just went like this and flicked up. I flicked up the lid and caught that little cut again. So now, but I can't put a Band-Aid on it. Hey, Whippy, I can't put a Band-Aid on. Like, let's put it this way. I have no tiny Band-Aids. I only have those big Mama Jamba ones. And that's what I used yesterday. So I'm just going to try not to get I'm almost out of this dioxazine purple. Uh, well, it's not so much that it hurts, but it bleeds. I don't want to bleed in my journal. So I might have to go get one of those big Band-Aids, because I'm trying to do this one-handed now for a minute. Maybe I get the bleeding, but I should have known better than to try to flip the lid with a cut on my thumb. Know what I mean, Vern? All right, so I might need a little lime green too. Let's get our little citron green. Very funny. Very funny, Debbie said. Maybe you need to incorporate a little red. Okay, so there's my greens and my purple and my orange. Now, I might need a lilac color too. Do I need a lighter purple? Maybe. And then I'll probably also need some black and white. Let me just put a tiny bit of. See, my colors are running low. I need to restock up. I'm going to look for a sale. Next time there's a sale, I've got to. And I try to write down the colors I get low on, so I remember to buy them. And then the other color I need is a yellow ochre. Let's see. And I'm going to tilt my camera up so y'all can see what I'm looking at. Right here, I have these paints in the wood rack. They're literally, you see how close they are to what I'm doing? Now let me tilt my camera back, guys. Hang on, got it all wonky again. Trying to do it one-handed. All right, still needs a little bit of tilting. Hang on. So I'm just reaching right there for the colors. Okay, so yellow ochre. Here we go. And maybe a little bit of white. And my black and white I buy in big ones like this. Be the boss of my Band-Aids, said Carol. Be the boss. And I'm getting a little bit of black too. Sorry, I bumped the camera again. Yeah, I might have to get a huge Band-Aid on it, but it will limit me to doing any. Luckily, it's on my left hand. But yeah, let me check the. Yeah, see, it's bleeding. Okay, hang on, guys. Let me go get a Band-Aid. I can't work holding a Kleenex on it. Hang on. And the cut is like literally an eighth of an inch. I think it's just because it's so close to the surface. See, this is the smallest Band-Aid I have. I'm going to do it while I'm bleeding. Hang on. Does anybody feel for me? For my 1/8 little cut? Okay, wait a minute. I'm bleeding all over the Band-Aid. I gotta hold the... Didn't know we were going to have a little medical mini emergency. All right. The problem is the cut is on the top of my thumb. So I've got to go with the Band-Aid. It's got to go down on top like that. See, it's going to kind of go down on top to stop the bleeding. So you see what I'm talking about? So then let's see if we can fold that in like that. But it should at least stop the bleeding, hopefully. There we go. All right. Crisis averted. Yeah, well, it's hard to do that, Janet, when you're bleeding. Holding a Kleenex on the cut and trying to cut a Band-Aid in half. I don't know if I could manage that. Yeah, no, I could wrap another Band-Aid around it too. But, you know, y'all don't want to sit here all day while I bandage myself up. It's good enough, guys. I just want to stop the bleeding, okay, while we're painting. All right. That'll teach you to cook. Yes, Vicky, I know, right? That is so true, Vicky. That is just so true. I'm plastered. Well, yeah, my thumb is plastered. Okay. Let's just forget the cut for now. We're gonna move on. Okay, let me find a couple brushes and let me put something behind. Now let's see if the glue's dried enough. All right, let me move this moly. I'm tripping over it. Let's see, make sure the glue is dried enough on these two bits that I was using, just to use as behind the pages here, so that when I paint to the edge, when I paint to the edge there, we have something covering it. Okay. So I think we'll start with the dark purple and maybe a little green. So I'm going to start with my fingers. Do you have some disposable? No. Yeah, it's no. I don't. We just decide we don't get cut around here very often. So this is the best I have. When the kids were little, we had SpongeBob Band-Aids. All right, so let's go ahead. And I'm going to pick up some of the dark purple and the light purple on my finger. And we're going to just start up in this corner. And I'm just going to kind of see what I need. I think it needs a little lighter purple. It might need a little white on the other finger. See, I can't run out of fingers. I can't run out of fingers. All right, let's go here. I'm just going to make it a 2-page spread here, so I'm going to just carry that over. I can go back in and add clouds and things. Okay, let's get down in the crease there. See? And then I'll fussy paint around her, which I'm going to need to do that pretty quick before I get too involved in all the details, Let's pick up a little green right there. What a trooper. Soldier on. That's right, guys. You guys are great. Okay, so I'm going to want a little bit of yellow ochre over here. I think I'm going to, some of this is already getting kind of needed to be fussy painted in with the brush. Hang on, that's Hubster. Hey, honey, I'm still streaming. What's up? You going to get what? Oh, going to go to Subway. Okay. All right. Bye. Okay, I don't want to add too many clouds and those kind of details yet. Oh, I need some baby wipes. I did buy new baby wipes. They're the non-soapy ones. They're the plain Huggies instead of the aloe and cucumber, I think it was, that were soapy. Oh, it's so nice to have my regular non-soapy baby wipes back. Yeah, I did put it on the list for the next time we go to the store. mixed box of Band-Aids. You know, they have the small, this box just has just this size. That's it. Okay, let's carry on, guys. Let's carry on. Oh my gosh. All right, let's put a little more purple in here. Again, I'm going to have to get in here with the brush because I don't want to get the purple on top of the flowers, but I'm just trying to get a variation of the purple coming down here so I can kind of get an idea where I want to go. Let's see. I think I want more purple in here. A little bit more yellow ochre. Oops, let me move my brushes so I can scoot up. Something's blocking. There we go. Get down here. So I'm just kind of playing with where the colors are going to go. I might need some blue. I think I'm going to need a little blue. What color blue do I want? I don't really want this turquoise. I want more the color of him. And a blue, purpley blue. But this blue is probably too true blue. Oh, I'll mix it with the purple. Again, look what I just did. I just did that. Oh! I'm almost out of true. I'm running out of colors, people. Running out of colors. There we go. That's what I needed. See, I want her to almost kind of look like she's going to be in the water. Okay? So I'm going to kind of get her dress and stuff to look like. Move the baby wipes so I can move the book. Okay. So I'm going to put her almost like in water. All right, so actually, I didn't say basically, but actually it's not much better. I kind of like this, but the edges have got to be something done with. So I'm going to go back in here with the purple and some blue. And just kind of get that on there. Kind of blend him. I think we'll have them both be in the water a little bit. So I think I'll have the water come across both pages. Something like that. Make this kind of smoky looking or kind of cloudy and foggy. And okay, now I got to be careful if I'm going to go over any of the bits of the color, you know, what I just colored, because it will smear, which is okay a little bit, you know, depending on where I'm going. The purple into the purple, it doesn't matter if it smears. But do I want the purple into the yellow ochre? You know, you got to kind of pay attention. All right, so back over on this side, on the back of her, I'm just going to get the base kind of colors in here. Let's do with let's go with a little bit more purple, a little bit more blue, just to have some of it tied in up there. And again, I'm going to, maybe a little green right in there. I'm going to take my baby wipe to blend it in. Okay, I'm going to have to put another layer right there. Kind of soaked into the Dilutions journal right there. Okay, so let's put a little bit more. Mix a little purple and blue right there. Just, it almost could be wings. She could almost have a wing, you know? I could almost accent that on purpose to make it look like she has a wing back there. Doesn't it kind of look like a wing? Maybe I can kind of carve out a wing. A little darker gray in here. Okay. Now I got to get in there with the brush. Looking good? Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see. All right. I've got pretty much to the edge. I don't mind if the paint gets on the next page. I just don't want them sticking together, you know. So, but I think I'm good for now. I'm going to move those out of the way for now. And let's see if I can kind of get back under here. Okay. Like the idea of the wings, because we can flick them out. Let's get the background done first, then we'll do the details like that. All right, let's see. Let's get a brush. That was the other thing I wanted to do today. I wanted to sort my brushes with you guys. Doesn't that sound exciting? Let's sort the brushes together. All right, I'm going to need some more baby wipes. I was going to sort all my paint brushes with you guys. We'll see how much time we have left. Oh my gosh, it's already 2 hours and 15 minutes. I don't know if we're going to finish this because it usually cuts off at 2:45. So I have probably at the most 30 minutes. Yeah, it could be a collar back there. All right, so what I'm going to have to do now is I'm going to just play with mixing some colors. And what I'm going to try to do is try to fussy paint her in a little bit here. So I'm just going to go around those white edges. That's why I left those white edges, so you can see how you can do this. Now, I'm not going to have that harsh edge right there. Right now, but I'm going to concentrate. I'm going to concentrate on trying. Let's get some light green around the dark green flower, leaves and stuff. And you can always go back in there with markers or a pen if you need to reestablish like a stem or something. Okay? So I'm just going to fussy paint in a base coat first just to get rid of the white. And then I can go back in there with, say, like the purple to kind of blend that in. So you can just kind of go back and forth. But I don't want to lose the leaves. I don't want them to go bye-bye. So fussy painted a little bit here and there. Around the sky area, which is going to have some clouds coming over that area anyway. And you don't have to worry about, so what if you cover up a leaf or two? It's your page. You're the boss of your color book. But I'm just showing you that you can paint. Now, again, it's much easier to get rid of torn edges than cut edges. But because we cut her right out of a book, and I was trying to keep as much of the detail as possible because of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, incorporate one of Carla's pages into my book. So I was trying to keep as much possible of the original image for the magazine's sake. So I'm just kind of playing around and dabbing and blending and okay. Again, I can go back in there, like if I want those little flowers to show, I can go in there and just put paint on top of it. Right now, I'm just trying to get rid of the edges. And this is going to take a while, which is why I'm afraid we're going to run out of time. So I think what I'll start, though, is with just some lime green to go around all of the little, it's not going to get rid of the white yet, but it will, it'll get rid of the white, but it's not going to get rid of the whole fussy cut bit yet, but it's just a start to get rid of the white. Okay, I just want to get rid of the white, and then I'll go in there and blend it in. Brush is getting a little dry. But you do have to be aware that this is a printed off of an inkjet printer. You got to be aware you might be smearing ink if you get it too saturated. All right, so again, I'm just going to take a minute or two or three to get rid of the white paper. And then we'll go in there and make it look like it's really more of a garden than just an outlined piece of paper. But it's a start. Okay, same for down here, around this little. All right, so you can see already the difference between this and this. It's not blended in yet, but we're getting rid of the stark white. You can go, I'm recording. I'll upload it. So if you have to go eat, good grief. As soon as I get done streaming, I rush to the kitchen. I'm starving by the time I get done because I don't eat before I stream. I don't want stomach growling, and I just drink my coffee and wait till I'm done streaming, and then I go eat. So I'm just getting rid of some of the white. Again, I'm kind of getting on top of those little white flowers, but I'm going to paint them in anyway. Probably paint them in a blue or something. So, all right, so again, I'm just trying to get rid of the paper. the white paper. Then we'll go in and blend it all and make it like a scene back there. Okay. All right, so I am kind of thinking I want some kind of wing thing. I think let's just give this a shot. Let's make a little bit of a yellow ochre and white. Let's see here. It's too light. I almost could just use straight yellow ochre, I think. Yeah. Now let's kind of feather that in a little. Kind of liking that. You know, I'm kind of liking that. All right, let's try another one. Let's go, that's kind of a brighter green. I almost need a little bit brighter green. Let's not flip it with this thumb. Let's flip it with this thumb. Oh, this one's almost gone too. All right, I'm going to have to stock up. All right, so I'm going to add a little bit of the olive to the bright green so it's not quite that bright, but it's not quite olive. Tiny bit of white. Brighten it up just a little, kind of matching that color right there. A little bit more white. Let's test that out. Yeah, there we go. Let's put another one of those right up here. Kind of twirl the brush and make it kind of look like a little, maybe like a little feathery thing there. Okay, then this one needs to be a little bit more blue. Let's add a little bit of blue to that green mixture. Tiny bit of white. Let's do this one. Shh. Needs a little bit of a highlight on that one. Let's put a little white in there. Shh, lightly. Okay, I think it needs a purple one. Let's get a purple, a little bit of white and purple. A little bit. Oh, I'm out of the dark purple. Where's my dark purple? Oh, come on. You can squeeze out one last little drop. There we go. Okay. Touch of white. All right, no question. So I'm going to continue on, guys. Let's put a little bit of a purple one there, maybe a little bit of a purple one back in there. Maybe just a tiny highlight. Gently, gently. Maybe one coming out from back there. That looks good. Maybe just a little bit limer green. A little bit light green one right back here. Okay, just kind of essence of featherage or something going on. Something back there, okay? All right, now I'm going to come back in here with some of the, like, I think I'm going to mix me up a darker green. Kind of get back in here. I probably should get a smaller brush. Hang on, the brush is going to be too big. See, I need to sort out my brushes. Ooh, I let that one goes in the trash. Let that one get crusty. I'm usually very careful with cleaning my brushes, but you know, every once in a while one sneaks by me. All right, so let's go in here now and let's start with right along her skin. I think I'll have a little bit of green background in some of it and then purple in some of it. See, this is going to take a while, guys, I have to say. It's going to take a while. Maybe I can do as much as I can with finger painting, because it will take a while. So glad you did a screenshot before and after. Yeah, I have the pictures of the girls. I didn't take one after I should have took one before I fussy cut her, shouldn't I? Oh well. I can get a screenshot anyway. I mean, I can take a screenshot. Okay. All right, let's see. I think I want some purple. Let's go with some purple, a little bit of white. Let's kind of go maybe around these little leaves with some purple. It's kind of like nondescript back there. It's kind of just like a little garden thing going on. So I'm going to have some different shades of purple. A little bit lighter ones. Maybe right in there. But just kind of fussy blending out. A little bit darker green right there. I don't know if y'all can see the progress that we're making or not. I am kind of far away, but I wanted y'all to be able to see both pages at the same time because I'm jumping back and forth. I'm jumping back and forth between the two sides, but it does take a little bit of time to kind of fussy paint in around this stuff since I cut it out. I think I want to get rid of that little edge right there along the hairline. Could almost put another, I think I want another green leaf coming almost out from behind her. Let's see if I can get one right in there. And then maybe another one coming out. Let me finish fussy painting that in before I put any more leaves coming over that. Let's see. Let's put a little yellow ochre in there. Because I want a few more of those little feathery things like right there. But I have to get this underpainting done right under it first. It's a little bit lighter over on this side. Let's give it a little bit more of a glow back in here. A little bit more of a glow. Right in there. Something going on back there. Yeah, well, yeah, and those two white things right there. Those are those little flowers. And I think what I'll do is I'll just paint those in, you know, when we get done, like kind of like little accent, and things on top. Just kind of like you got to wait for the clouds too. All right, so you can kind of see that. I'm going to hit this with the heat gun real quick because I want to go ahead and put the little feathery wingy things on there, and I can't do it when it's wet. It's coming along, but unless I start another part, we're not going to finish this in 20 minutes. Just saying. That's all. That's about all the time I've left before I have to start a new recording. Ustream, that's all the time rather. All right, so let's see. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of this purple and white. A little brighter. I think I want a brighter one right in here. Let's see. Maybe a little bit more white on there. So let's make it a little brighter. Like that. Real quietly. Then let's get another green one in there. Whoops, got a drop of water. Needs a little thicker green. Okay, it needs one coming out kind of behind her head there. I don't really want to lose all those little leaves that are in her hair, but at the same time, it needs to work. It needs to work. Let's have a little bit more right on this one. We'll just show up a little bit more. So I kind of want to lose the edge. I want it to kind of feather out a little like that. Needs some more coming in. Let's see here. Brush gets a little dry. Okay. It needs one like right here. Coming right across the color book page thing. But all right, now let me get the purple one right in front of that, and I think we're good on the feathery stuff. Just a touch white on that one too. Something like that. Something like that. Thanks everybody for being here. That needs to be purpler. That needs to be more purple. It's not going to show up. It needs to be more purple like her dress. Okay, I'm going to stop fussing in this corner for a minute. All right, let's come over here. I need a little bit of, this is the blue I want. And I want, but I can't lose those, let's see how dark, that's too dark. I'll lose the leaves if I'm not careful. I'm going to have to go back over each leaf to make it pop back out. So, but let's get it blended in. Let's get it blended in. Okay. Okay, a little bit of that leaf is coming up. Let me get a little bit of glue here. Y'all still with me? I don't blame you if you're not. It's kind of tedious at this point, you know. Hopefully you're able to see some of it. Get rid of a little bit of that around her neck. I have to go back in there and accent those leaves. Okay, so now back in here, I want a little bit of yellow, ochre, and orange. Right in here. Kind of behind those leaves right in there. Maybe right up against him because this is going to be some water and stuff going on down there. It's just kind of tedious though, guys. I mean, it's no getting around some of the little fussy, because, and again, I probably would not be so fastidious about the little designs that are around her if I was just doing this page. But because I'm doing it for Carla's magazine, I'm trying to make sure I keep as much of those details as I possibly can, you know. So this is going to be water down here, but I got to let that yellow ochre dry or it's going to turn green. So let's just come over here. Let's get a little bit of the purple. Let's get right up, kind of right up in here. A little bit of the blue. I don't want to lose, I don't want the parrot to get lost. So it would probably be a little less worried about each one of those leaves if it was just me doing a color book page, is what I'm saying. Okay, let's get in here with the purple around these daisy. Okay, I need a little bit more of that purple. Thanks, Lindsay. Thanks, Rain. It just takes, but it, this does take a little bit of time if you want to incorporate it into a journal page. But I like this part. See, I love the process. This is the kind of stuff I really enjoy. The part of, is this kind of thing. But, sometimes I feel like I'm in a time crunch, which, sometimes I actually am in a time crunch. Like now, I'm going to run out of time. But I can come back and finish it, guys. I mean, what time is it? It's not even 1. I can stay for a while longer. I mean, I don't know if y'all can, but I can stay and work on it a little longer. Because I know people go, well, I never saw it finish. And of course, I post it all on Twitter and everything, but not everybody's there, and so they don't get to see it finished until maybe the next show or something where I am, where I'll show it. Okay, I need a little bit darker, but I need a little bit, paints are starting to get a little dry. It's too black. I need a little bit more purple in there. And I'm just going to go ahead and go over some of this. And same thing, because I'm going to put a cloud there, but I'm not ready for the cloud yet. I got to have this here first. So let's just get that in there. Oh, come on down here. All right. So I can stay and finish it. I don't know about that. I couldn't. Okay, and again, around some of those little bits of her flowers in her hair, I'm going to hand draw them back in. Same thing for right in here. Okay, it needs a little bit more purple blending right in here. Because I'm going to add some other things, some clouds, maybe some fog, maybe some water. I don't know yet. And this needs to be blended in a little more. Can add some little details, some little, you can stylize it and add kinds of patterns and things, dots and dashes and, other things too. But I think you're starting to see her blend in. We're getting there. All right, let me come back down here again. Get working back down in here. I think I'm going to go with some more blue. I think I'll go with some more blue down in here. I really didn't want to cover up the little artist's name there that drew it, that I can't even read because it's so small. But we'll add maybe some flicks of paint. I'm not going to put any drippage, Eileen. No drippage. But I might put some little dots and dashes and, some other things around here. Just kind of leave some of it to your imagination. What's back in there. It's like a little garden thing back there. Purple. And we'll pop out some of those leaves. And again, those little white dots there, those are the little flowers. I'm just going to add some color to them shortly. All right, so there we got it going. Getting it going. Oh, thanks, Shabs. Get the potted meat and crackers. Okay, we could go make a fried Spam sandwich. All right, let's just work a little bit down here, and then I'll kind of continue on with some clouds and stuff. Let's get in a little bit of, my paint's getting a little dry, too. I am having to add a little bit of water. because it's kind of getting a little dry. All right, let's just do a little bit in there. All right, so I'm going to just kind of fussy in a little bit of here and there where we cut that little white daisy out. And I'm going to put clouds over right in there. But I do need a little bit more. Well, the light, I can have the light coming across there like that. Let's just put a little bit of, maybe just a little bit of yellow in there. Just kind of, maybe that's where the sun is. Okay. Coming back down here. I'm going to add a little bit of black down here on this edge. And I'll try not to stick my pages together. But I'm going to add this area just be a little bit darker. Okay. Let's get in with a little bit more. See what that'll do. Just to get rid of the stark whiteness of it. But I don't want to lose all that. I kind of like that little bit of stencil-y look right in there. Let's just put a little bit of watered down purple in there. Something like that. I want to make sure we don't lose the beak. Let's paint his beak in just a little bit more distinguished. Okay, let me hit this with the heat gun and just like look at it for a second. I might have time to sort my brushes. It does need, it's going to need, all right, one more thing. I can tell just by looking in the camera, I'm going to want this back here to be darker behind those. I'm going to want those to pop a little more. And because the other corner is black, has black in it, I'm going to want this corner to be a little darker, maybe with a couple of stars in there. I don't know yet, but I do know I want this corner to be a little blacker behind that. Just something like that. Makes it pop a little. And that leaf right there, I'm going to have to cover that leaf up from the color book. Just not feeling that one little leaf in there. Go back in with maybe a pop of the wheat stem, but that needs to be dark right there behind her head, you know, just needs a little bit more dark. Okay, so that just made that pop a little. I think it needs a little bit more down in here too. Let's just go ahead and blend that in. Kind of like a little garden fairy or something, you know? Let's just add a little bit of dark in there. Okay, I'm liking that better. Okay, let me hit it with the heat gun. You made some corn dogs. I'm not much on corn dogs. The only way I really like hot dogs is when Hubster cooks them on the grill. Like almost burnt. A lot of mustard. Mustard dogs. All right. Let me dry this. See, his parrot's getting a little lost down in there. I'd have to put some highlight on his wings or lighten up behind him. He's getting a little, like he's kind of lost it down there a little bit. You like him charred well too, Carol? All right, let's go ahead and start with maybe the water down here. All right, so I got some blue. I need a little bit more white. Let's just go ahead and put the water in. Let's see, do I have enough blue there? Maybe. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get a little bit of yellow ochre down in here just to have a little bit of like undercolor underneath the water light, just to have something under there, okay? Maybe just a little more coming from this side too. All right, that's kind of like underneath the water, some color going on under the water. I need another baby wipe. All right. So let me dry that real quick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get some blue. I think I have enough there. A little bit of white. Let's see what we can do with the water. I'll keep you all on camera here. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's put some water in. And I'll decide if I want any little wave splashy things or not. Let's get the blue on there. Okay, the water line needs to come up a little higher on him, I think, because it's a little higher on her. I mean, I don't want it looks like the water's moving. I want it level. It's a little better. It's a little high right there. Maybe I'll just put a little bit of wave action going on right there. Let's see. All right, let's see. Oh, we got too much yellow ochre. Picked up the yellow ochre instead of the white. A little more blue, a little bit more. I need a little more something going on right there. Let's make it a little blacker right there. I'll go back in with the brush for a few more little flicks of waves. I've got some water going on down there. Okay, let's see what else we can do. Maybe, let me see. I think I'm going to let me get a little bit of foamy stuff going on here. A little bit more. A little bit more something going on. I talk to myself about it. I have to talk it out. It's got a crack, the crease right there in the book too. All right, let's just stop for a minute on the water. Oh. All right, let's leave that for a minute. Okay, I'm going to go and do a few clouds. I'm thinking this is almost kind of really bright. I think I'm going to add a little bit of orange into the center of that. With some paint, just a little bit of something, because I don't like that stark white. Just give it a little something. Same thing for I'm thinking around the flower here. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of purple and maybe just kind of go around. Just a little bit of purple, and so it's not so stark white. I know you probably can't see that, but okay. You have a story for this one in your head, Carrie? Good. All right, I think it needs a little bit darker purple. I'm just going to pick some stuff up with my baby wipe and kind of work it in some areas. these flowers aren't popping, but I don't want to get it into the, I don't want to get it into the, his beak, because it's gonna, I don't want to lose his beak there, you know? Just a little bit something down in here. And we're gonna add some water, some clouds, some stars. I gotta add some more flowers. I think I'll do some white little flowers in there. Or some like really bright, do I want yellow ochre flowers? I kind of do. Let me do that next. I think I'm going to go in here with some, let's go in here with some little greeny, yellowy. I'm going to get in here with these little leaves. Now let me check. It's not quite dark enough. Need a little more olive. It needs just a touch darker. Well, I'm trying to make these pop, but I want them to be still dark. I don't know. I'm going to see. We might be losing those leaves a little bit. I might have to go back in there and highlight them a little. The leaves from the color book. All right, so let me just do one here. Then we'll get in there with a little yellow ochre and a little white. Highlight them a little. Let's just say shh, quietly, quietly. Just touch, touch. Just a little bit of. Just so you can kind of see there's a little bit of leafage right there. Might go back in with a pencil too. I don't want to lose them completely, but I can see they're kind of dark. I'm going to have to go in there with yellow ochre. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's go over to these. Just get a few in there. A couple back in here. Let me lighten those up a little so you can see them against the dark. Brush is dry. Oh. Got orange on there. Oh wow, a little bit of orange in there would probably be nice. Okay. Maybe I will do those flowers orange. All right, let me go ahead and lightly get these where I'm going to put the little wheat things right in here, here. There's another one. There's another wheaty thing over there. And there's one in her hair. Oops. Okay. All right, guys, I got to start part. Hang on. I'll be right back. I got to save this and start another part. Okay, 1 second. My time is up. Let me stop, and I'll be right back.